Hi guys, Merry Christmas! Happy holidays to everyone. I can't believe Christmas is in 2 days. So I wanted to hop on here and talk a little bit, of course, about Kratom and that last article by the Mayo Clinic. Yeah, so the Mayo Clinic, as everyone knows, they hold a lot of power. You know, I'm sure they are the FDA's puppets or puppeteer. I mean, they're definitely like, you know, in cahoots. But their last article, they said so many lies. Like, it's just so much false information. Like, they mentioned that Kratom, the plant Kratom, varies in the amount of alkaloids that are in the leaf, and that is a complete lie. That is untrue. So, you know, I'm sure they know this is a lie. I mean, they are doctors and scientists. They are medical professionals. I'm sure they know that's not true. You know, if they really don't and they're coming from a place of ignorance, well, that's a disgrace because they are medical professionals, and that would be negligence. But pure leaf, unadulterated pure leaf Kratom leaf, unadulterated in its natural form, has no more than 2% 7-hydroxymitragina. So it's not, you're not going to get Kratom powder and one package is going to have more alkaloids in it as opposed to another package. It's not like that. Like, you don't have to be wondering, oh gosh, is this batch going to be stronger than the next one I get? No. And that is part of the point behind the Kratom Consumer Protection Act. But I mean, just natural Kratom in its pure leaf form, it doesn't just change its alkaloid content. It's not a dangerous substance. It doesn't do that. Now, vendors, they can change its form, and that is a criminal act, especially if the KCPA is enacted into legislation in your particular state. You would be committing a criminal act if you were to increase the alkaloid content. So that's why the KCPA is so important, that the American Kratom Association is enacting and wanting to enact on the federal level in 2021. So really important. There are already 2 states in active legislation session. That is my state of California and Maine. So be on the lookout. I posted all that information in our group, Southeast Beautiful. And so again, the Mayo Clinic, you know, what's upsetting about them is they are so influential and powerful. Like, people listen to them, which is understandable because, you know, they are regarded as, you know, high esteem. They are the elite of medical professionals. And that's why we've got to just keep advocating, and we got to get the truth out to Americans who don't know much about this plant. You know, we need to grab their attention with the truth about this amazing plant, the scientific evidence. You know, we are not presenting false data here. We are presenting scientific evidence. You know, studies, animal studies that have been done on Kratom. And, you know, they say that Kratom hasn't been studied enough, you know, but I beg to differ on that. Kratom has been being consumed by human beings for years and years and years, like for hundreds of years. And I mean, just in the last 10 years, we have thousands of testimonies. So those are human studies right there. You know, and in Western medicine, it's all about trial and error. That is how something is approved. That is how a treatment or a medication is approved as per the FDA, is by trial and error. So we are definitely going through the trial and error phases regarding the consumption of Kratom. And again, I mean, the proof is in the pudding. The majority of Kratom consumers are benefiting from this plant. We are taking this plant successfully and responsibly. And the bottom line is Kratom is not dangerous. It is not harming people. And I get tired of hearing people always come back and say, oh, it's addictive. No, that is not justification, because the coffee you drink every single morning, the coffee that is consumed every morning by 90% of Americans in this country is addictive. Caffeine is a psychoactive substance. It is a mind-altering substance. It doesn't mean it's bad. It doesn't mean it's harming people. No, of course not. Otherwise, we wouldn't be functioning Americans. I mean, our country, we are like number one. Well, we used to be number one, but I mean, come on, like, you know, our culture and society is all about working. You know, we live to work. How do we function? Just like, you know, that commercial by Dunkin' Donuts, American runs on Dunkin' Donuts. Well, Americans gonna run on Kratom, let me tell you. And millions of Americans are already running successful lives due to Kratom. So we need to get this word out, and we need to keep spreading the truth about Kratom mitragyna speciosa. Because again, it's not harmful because it's addictive. No. Everything on the planet has the potential to be addictive. Society, culture, we need to understand addiction better. As a psych nurse, I understand it well. I understand that addiction and dependency are separate. Neither one is actually harmful. It all depends on the substance that you're using and the behavior of the person. You know, sex, gambling is very dangerous with negative side effects. You know, I mean, I've known people who had gambling addictions and they lost their home, they lost their family, they lost everything in their lives due to a gambling addiction. And they ended up with nothing. Kratom doesn't do that. So stop saying Mayo Clinic and FDA and other doctors out there and the media, the slimy media out there, stop brainwashing Americans into thinking it's addiction, therefore it's bad. No, there are healthy addictions, there are healthy habits. Habit is an addiction, it's the same thing. There are healthy habits and bad habits. What about shopping? Someone could have a really out of control shopping habit where they spend money that they don't have. You know, they charge up their credit cards and it's, you know, compulsive shopping. They literally cannot keep themselves from shopping, even when they can't afford to. What happens? Negative consequences happen. Serious consequences happen where they end up in debt. They lose their home. They have delinquent credit card accounts. They go bankrupt. What negative side effects happen as a result of consuming Kratom? Nothing. It's all positive. Okay, the worst thing is that if someone decides to overtake it and then they stop, they don't feel so well. That is a very small price to pay. What are we talking about here? That is not a harmful side effect. That is not harming anyone. Nobody's going into the hospital. Nobody's having dangerous vital signs from stopping their use of Kratom. It's not happening. Sex is a huge addiction. People come down with AIDS, HIV, syphilis. You know, you don't hear about that so much because they don't highlight it, but they want to highlight Kratom and they want to paint it into something that it's not, because they want to try and say, oh, it's addictive. Oh, it's addictive. Oh, it's addictive. Oh, it's bad. It's bad because it's addictive. Everything is addictive. Do you know how many things you are addicted to at this moment in time? Whoever you are that's looking at me right now, listening to me talk, I bet you anything you're addicted to coffee. Big deal. Who cares? It's not a big deal. Is it hurting anyone? No. Same thing with Kratom. Who cares? It's not hurting anyone. So we need to rethink this whole addiction thing and withdrawals. No, you're not going to suffer withdrawals like you would if you had a heroin addiction. Or what about antidepressants, psychotropics? Those are horrible. Those are almost impossible to wean off of because they literally change the wiring in your brain. Xanax, benzodiazepines are so hard to come off of. And of course, the more you take, the harder it is to stop. That's with anything in life. Anything. Moderation is key, always. Even when we're eating food, you know, it's so true. I mean, it goes back to when we were kids. You know, don't eat too much candy, you'll get a stomach ache. You know, don't eat too much Kratom, it'll give you a stomach ache. And you'll throw it back up. But hey, that is a safety feature though. Because that is how people don't overdose on Kratom. Because if you do overtake it, you just throw it right back up. And again, Kratom is a partial agonist. It isn't a full agonist. That means it doesn't attach fully to the receptors in the brain, like methadone or opioids. You know, I support opioids, but it's a fact. I mean, they are riskier. It's just a fact, you know, but it doesn't mean that we can't take opioids responsibly either, because people have been doing that for years. I mean, I do it. So, you know, we're not children here. And the people who are children, you know, who are adults, well, they need help, and that's a separate issue, but it doesn't mean that we need to ban Kratom, you know, or chocolate or coffee because it's addictive. It's not harmful. That's the key word here. It isn't harmful. There are harmful addictions, and there are addictions that aren't harmful, that are healthy, and Kratom is a healthy habit. All the good it does, do not dismiss the million uses that Kratom has, because there might be one person or a minority who had a negative experience with it. So we just got to keep fighting, you guys. And Facebook is crazy, of course. One thing I want to say, like, please, like, I just don't want us to like turn against each other, and just there's so much drama it seems like lately. And you know, unless you like really know for sure that someone's coming after you or whatever, I mean, just, you know, don't like jump to conclusions unless you have facts, you know. I mean, you know what assume stands for. It means makes an ass out of you and me. We don't want to be asses, but you know, it's just important like to not go and make drastic decisions based on assumptions. Like, I don't agree with that. That's, you know, you can get into real trouble with that. Anyways, okay, I love you guys, and Kratom saves lives. Bye.